What is up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel, and if you're new to my channel, welcome to my channel. My name is Toni, Bryanne, and in today's video, we will be discussing the ZARAfication of numerous clothing brands. And this entire concept stems from PrettyLittleThing and their very much so controversial rebrand. But before we get into today's video, you guys know I always like to start with a little bit of positivity. So let's first start off with the quote of the day. Today's quote of the day is, "I am attracting miracles into my life." Today's verse of the day is Romans chapter 3, verses 23 through 24, and it reads, "For all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God, and all are justified freely by his grace through the redemption that came by Christ Jesus." And without further ado, you guys, let's get straight into today's video.
Taking you in this moment.
Hey guys, super big and exciting news. I know a lot of you love watching my deep dives, video essays, and commentary on YouTube, but now you can listen to me anytime, anywhere. That's right. Yes, Toni Bryanne TV is now officially available on all podcast platforms. So whether you're at the gym, driving, or just chilling at home, you can now stream my breakdowns on pop culture, trending topics, and all the mess straight from your favorite podcast app. So go ahead and follow Toni Bryanne TV, the podcast, on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts from. And don't worry, the YouTube videos aren't going anywhere. We're just giving you another way to stay in the loop. Toni Bryanne TV podcast will be linked down below, so please be sure to follow and watch me on all of those platforms. Thank you guys so much for your endless love and support. I would not be anywhere I am without you guys. I just absolutely adore you all, and I'm just so thankful for everyone. Now let's get back into today's episode. It wasn't too long ago when PrettyLittleThing was known for their vibrant, bright, might I say risque, and fun clothing selections. However, their recent rebrand has taken a complete left turn, and they have altered exactly what they stemmed from when they first introduced the brand PrettyLittleThing. The entire PrettyLittleThing website went through a complete change. Everything is now beige, brown, neutral, monochromatic, and it seemingly is meant to give off this elevated, quiet luxury look that so many people are currently trying to dress as. And believe it or not, PrettyLittleThing is not the only brand that has decided to go down this route. Fast fashion brands everywhere are rebranding themselves to look more, might I say, luxury and less fast. But at what cost exactly? Higher prices, but still lower quality clothing? A clear yet eerie lack of diversity? And everybody once again looking the exact same way. This isn't just a one brand thing. It's a clear yet quite significant switch that the entire fashion industry is currently going through. So today, we're going to be breaking down how exactly PrettyLittleThing got here, what exactly has driven this rebrand, and why minimalism culture, soft life culture, whichever you want to call it, isn't as seemingly innocent as you may believe. But before we get into the breakdown of today's entire video, I would like to thank the sponsor of today's video, Raycon. So I recently restarted my fitness journey, and that incorporates me taking long walks or long runs in the park. And quite frankly, when I'm on those long walks and runs fighting for my life, especially on those runs, I just need to focus on the one thing I'm doing: exercising. And parks have so many distractions that take you just away from your one and only goal, which is exercise. Babies crying, kids playing, dogs barking, you name it, there's noise everywhere. So I could never fully lock in. That was until I was introduced to Raycon everyday earbuds. These little lifesavers have active noise isolation, which means I can tune out all of the madness around me while I'm trying to exercise and actually focus on what I need to in that moment. Whether I'm on a walk, a run, in the gym, or just editing. The sound quality of these earbuds is so good. And let's talk about the incredible battery life. 32 hours total playtime, and just 10 minutes of charging gives me 90 minutes of listening. Child, my phone does not even last that long. And how can I possibly forget Raycon's multi-point connectivity? Raycon's multi-point connectivity allows me to be able to connect both my laptop and my phone at the same time, which means switching between work and play seamlessly. And the absolute best part, Raycon starts at half the point of premium brands without reducing its quality. I mean, it's the ultimate bang for your buck. So if you want to level up your audio game, go to buyraycon.com/TonyB to get 20% off the best-selling everyday earbuds. Click the link in my description to grab yours today. And thank you so much, Raycon, for sponsoring this segment of today's video. Now let's get back into today's video. In today's video, we'll be covering how PrettyLittleThing went went from Instagram baddie aesthetic to old money aesthetic almost overnight. Well, literally overnight. Why exactly minimalism is taking over fashion and who exactly it is benefiting, the lack of diversity in Pretty Little Thing's rebranding and how it's not exactly a coincidence, and lastly, what this means for fast fashion and what is coming next. So let's get into our first talking point, Pretty Little Thing's intense rebrand. So let's first start off with the foundation of Pretty Little Thing. Pretty Little Thing was founded in 2012 by Umar and Adam Kamani, two brothers from Manchester. The brand initially started off as an affordable, fast fashion and trendy brand for young women, mainly for those young women who wanted trendy and celebrity-inspired outfits without the high price tags. So though they were founded in 2012, they didn't necessarily blow up until between 2014 to 2016. Their items were tight dresses, bold prints, flashy, sexy. It was everything that the Instagram baddie aesthetic was back in the day, which led the brand to have major traction in the US in 2017, mainly due to influencer marketing. Y'all should check out my last video about influencer marketing. Okay, a little promo right there. And partnerships with major reality stars like Kylie Jenner. And we all know Kylie Jenner was that girl back in the day. And by 2018, Pretty Little Thing was a powerhouse. They had partnerships with all of the it girls of the time. The Instagram model Jada Cheese, Molly May from Love Island UK, Saweetie, Doja Cat, Kourtney Kardashian. You name the top celebrity at the time, Pretty Little Thing had a partnership with them, and they were very closely tied to Fashion Nova and their popularity. And during this time, this was peak BBL fashion. And what exactly is BBL fashion and what does that mean? Well, take a look at it for yourselves. A lot of the clothes in the late 2010s into the early 2020s were catered to a very specific body type. And that body type in a lot of cases was not natural. From the form-fitting clothing, the bright colors, the loud prints, like I've said so many times, it wasn't something that the traditional woman that is working a 9 to 5 is going to wear on a day-to-day basis. It was more club wear for the girlies that were really making it and didn't have to work. However, in about 2021-2022, a major shift began. Fashion started changing, and out was the BBL aesthetic, and in was the old money aesthetic. And Pretty Little Thing started losing its popularity, which leads us into the making of today's video. The ZARAfication of clothing brands. What exactly do I mean by this? If you guys do not know what the clothing brand Zara is probably one of the most influential fashion retailers in the industry today. Zara is mostly known for their minimalist fashion, but at an affordable luxury appeal, which means that their clothes are giving luxury without those luxury prices, but they still are on the price you're in, which is why I say affordable luxury. Unlike brands like Pretty Little Thing, Fashion Nova, and Shein, who built their identities on very much so influencer heavy, trend heavy, and bold fashion marketing, Zara has always marketed themselves as sleek, refined, elegant, classy. And that seemingly is trending in today's time, which is why I say a lot of these fashion brands are trying to become Zara in terms of them trying to be minimalist because that's what's trending right now. So let's type in prettylittlething.com and see what pops up. www.prettylittlething. I can't even type. .us. Hold on, y'all. Let's get all my coupons out the way, okay? We don't need those right now because we're not buying nothing. Wow, let's look at how different Pretty Little Thing looks now. Pretty Little Thing was super vibrant when you would go on their website before, and this almost looks like a Skims knockoff, if I'm being quite frank, including a Zara knockoff. It's minimalist, it's classy, it's modest, and that's everything that Pretty Little Thing once upon a time was indeed not. And another starking thing that I noticed is the very much so high prices. Pretty Little Thing was notoriously known for their affordable fast fashion, but now it's giving much more, like I said, affordable luxury like Zara, where you're seeing numbers like $50, $60, $110, $75. That was never Pretty Little Thing. Basically, more and more fast fashion brands are gearing towards the Zara blueprint. Minimalist, neutral, luxury inspired, yet still mass produced. It's a formula that makes fast fashion brands seem more expensive when in all actuality, they actually are not. They're upping the price, but not upping that quality.
The one thing about Pretty Little Thing is they're probably going to be selling the same quality clothes but just making it seem like it's upper echelon, high quality clothes because of the colors are more dull and it gives more boring.
I mean, literally, let's take a look at Zara's website. Look how eerily similar Pretty Little Thing's website is to Zara. I mean, honestly, Zara has more pops of color on their website. They got some blues. This is seemingly what Pretty Little Thing wants to go by when it comes to their fashion choices and how they display themselves and market themselves. So with this rebrand, I expected a lot of people to be all for it because everybody's always talking about quiet luxury, minimalist everything from their minimalist apartments, their minimalist closets, and their minimalist looks. I thought y'all all would be down for the cause, but actually a lot of people are upset. People are tired of the minimalist aesthetic.
I just went and looked on the Pretty Little Thing website, and the biggest thing I see is it looked like they took away all the color. I've been seeing people say that they're just trying to cater to a more conservative audience, but that mean you can't wear color, like, because everything is just like, you know, brown, beige, and bland.
Unpopular opinion, but this new Pretty Little Thing rebrand, I don't want to see it. I don't. It's boring. I've just looked through their website and it's boring. It's office attire, the models, it's giving clean girl, it's giving bland, basically. But I don't want to see it. It's boring. We have other websites to shop this attire, and I just don't think Pretty Little Thing needed to do the rebrand.
So Pretty Little Thing rebranding to the old money Nara Smith core, yeah? Which is fantastic for them. But you know what I just think as a broader scale that needs to be mentioned? This whole old money, like, you know, clean girl aesthetic, wrap it up expeditiously, because it's now becoming forced. There was always a few girls that did that really well, but now every other, like Sophia Richie old money core, the only old money you have is the money in your piggy bank that's old because you've not emptied it in a while. It's forced for a lot of you guys, and genuinely, guys, I go through a few eras on here. I can be quite hypocritical, but if you ever catch me going through an old money clean girl aesthetic phase, report my account expeditiously. Report it. Where's a neon pink mini dress when you need one? You know what I mean? Hot girl summer is coming up and people are doing old money collections. I want a bright neon mini dress with my under boob out, so I'll be parking my ass to Fashion Over with haste. And second thing that I want to say is, this whole like forced old money class, it has its market, but now when everyone's doing it, I want it to stop.
Why is luxury being marketed as something so beige? Like, why are brands obsessed with pushing monochromes and nudes down our throats when it comes to fashion and even home decor? When real luxury brands who have been around for a minute now don't do that. If you look at Miu Miu, Gucci, especially when Alexandra was the creative director, or even Versace, you'll know that they are not afraid of using bold colors in their designs. So where does this association with beige, minimalism, and wealth come from? And why are fast fashion brands like PLT trying so hard to rebrand into this aesthetic? I'm sorry, but this whole fast fashion, old money illusion absolutely grinds my gears, because the idea of old money is cemented in the ideas of timelessness and durability, and also that wealth doesn't need to prove itself, because true luxury is quiet confidence.
People want to see color. I mean, spring is literally in a few weeks. We want to see pops of color. We want to see yellows. We want to see pinks. We want to feel more life within us. And that was one thing that people loved about Pretty Little Thing, especially when it came to them going on vacations. Pretty Little Thing had every fashion choice you could potentially want when you're going on your trip. The vibrant colors, the sultry and sexy looks. Not every brand needs to be a carbon copy of the next, and that's why so many people are upset. Brands either just don't get that or they just don't care.
And I know everybody got their think pieces off yesterday, but I didn't get mine off. This Pretty Little Thing situation is really making me upset, because I was just planning to buy some stuff for vacation. I log onto the site. Blues, browns, tans, neutrals, not even earthy tones, straight neutrals. And nobody's talking about how it's about to be spring. They didn't even give y'all spring colors. They gave you one pale ass orange. Yellow, excuse me. One. They got like 60 items on the website and everything is a freaking suit dress. What the f is this? 2015? Like, and everybody's like, I actually like the rebrand. Finally, modest clothing. Why the hell was you going to Pretty Little Thing for modest clothing anyway? You should have been going to Dillard's. You should have been at Macy's, and you should have been at Bloomingdale's. Pretty Little Thing, are you...
So this is apparently PLT's rebrand. And when I tell you it leaves much to be desired, like, we're moving towards conservatism. towards neutral colors.
Money is the root of all evil, and especially in this capitalist society, which is why I think PrettyLittleThing did this as well, which we'll get into just a little bit later. They're going to do whatever to keep up with the trends. Once again, this is a company that stems off of trends, and right now the minimalist aesthetic is a trendy thing in order to keep their profits up. So as I stated, there are a multitude of reasons as to why this is happening, and one of these reasons being the change in body image in recent years. We went from everybody wanting to be an Instagram baddie, be thicker than a Snicker, to now everybody wanting to be skinnier than a stick. Literally less than 5 years ago, the ideal body image was big boobies, big booty, thin waist, and just an overall curvy silhouette. PrettyLittleThing, Fashion Nova, and numerous other brands thrived during this era, specifically designing clothes that was meant to enhance those features that so many women were constantly getting or were naturally born with and were praised for having. But now, with the beauty standard shifting and thin being back in, we are now seeing the rise of the thin model off-duty look. Think of Kendall Jenner, Bella Hadid, Hailey Bieber. If you just look on social media, those girls and their fashion looks are constantly trending. So now these brands that once were really catered to the girls that were popular back then, the entire Kardashian clan, Jada Cheese, Ari Fletcher, Iggy Azalea, Nicki Minaj, all the va-va-voom bodies, they're now switching their clothes to cater more towards those women that have smaller frames because that is what's trending right now. Once again, PrettyLittleThing is following the blueprint that they always followed. Trendy styles, and right now what happens to be trendy is skinny. The brand advertised this rebrand of wanting to give off a more elevated and expensive look, but quite frankly it's all about delving into what the new body trend is, and the new body standard, should I say. I don't like calling bodies trends, which is a marketing tactic that is meant to give them ultimately more money in their pockets. So that gets me into the entire minimalistic old money aesthetic that is also trending right now, which really closely ties into the skinny aesthetic. As I stated earlier, minimalism is taking over fashion. The monochromatic clothes, the neutrals, the browns, just boring beige. We're tired of it. Heck, even the babies have gotten caught in this monochromatic trend. And the conversation of quiet luxury is seemingly dominating the fashion industry. But the concept of minimalism and old money is a lot deeper than a lot of people care to think. And if you look at PrettyLittleThing's website, y'all are gonna know exactly what I'm speaking about in just a second. Minimalism isn't just about simplicity. It's also deeply tied to Eurocentric body and beauty standards. The new ideal look right now is thin, effortless, and minimal. And now bold fashion statement trends are a thing of the past. And who exactly is known for making very bold statements when it comes to fashion? People of color. Let's talk about the lack of black and brown people on PrettyLittleThing's new rebranded website. If you scroll through PrettyLittleThing's new website, you'll definitely notice that something or many things are missing. Do y'all see many black and brown models on their new rebranded website, if any? There are no diverse faces, no diverse looks, and clearly no inclusion on that new website. And I find it quite funny because black influencers and models is what made PrettyLittleThing the brand that they are today. The entire BBL aesthetic, the entire bold fashion and looks that came about was primarily from black creators, influencers, and celebrities. I mean, PrettyLittleThing collaborated with a lot of black people. But now that they're seeing that the Eurocentric body and beauty standards are trending, they threw away what once was trending too. The caricature of black women and the appropriating of black women in culture. And it's quite interesting because we see brands do this over and over again. Them using black and brown faces when it's trending, but not as something that stands with their everyday morals and standards for their brands.
Not to be shady, because you know your girl be shopping at PLT, but I feel like I'm finding it very annoying when a certain demographic of women invest into a shop. For example, us sticker girlies. You gave us the Hoochie Mama clothes, gave us PLT shape for those that have big hips, and you just completely revamp forgetting about who your core audience is. Because to me, it's given y'all fat bitch. This is how we're gonna move now. Thank you for making us £1 million empire. But now we go with the demure chicks.
Hey guys, editor Toni here. So I realized I completely forgot to add in how what PrettyLittleThing did along with other brands in terms of creating a more minimalist, modest, and quote unquote boring fashion is that fashion does closely have ties to what is going on politically in our world right now. It seems as if specifically in America, we are trying to go backwards in terms of inclusivity, power, and equality. And that is showing in fashion. So the pushing of the Nara Smiths, the pushing of trad wives, and the pushing of women having less and less options for the club attire, the vacation attire. It all comes to a deeper and bigger meaning. And I'm going to show you guys a few creators that very well spoke on this exact topic that I'm speaking on. Take a listen to this.
It's not surprising to me that brands are doing this rebrand to go into this pilgrim fashion because of where we are in the state of politics. Like, we can truly see the shift to conservatism from our politics to what we're wearing to what we're watching. So no surprise that everybody's looking for their high neck sweaters and midi skirts.
So when you view this push to modesty in a vacuum, it seems not nefarious at all. It seems pretty innocent. What's wrong with people wanting to wear high neck sweaters and not showing their elbows? However, when you zoom out and view fashion for what it is, which is a part of our political landscape, then you realize that this push to women having to cover up and be modest is the alt-right pipeline at work. Clothing retailers revamping slutty fashion to go into more of this modest fashion not be viewed without also discussing how our politics in the US is skewing so far right. It starts with not acknowledging Black rights, LGBTQ rights, trans rights, and it slowly trickles down to women not having rights, not having autonomy over their body, as we can see with anti-abortion laws. And that is then finally illustrated in what retailers are pushing us to wear, which is covering up. We really have regressed. I am team women should wear whatever they want to wear, but when we start subtly encouraging women to cover up their bodies, it pushes a message: do not have autonomy over your body. But right, there really is nothing wrong with wanting to cover up and be modest, but in 2025, it cannot just be seen as this innocent, oh, everyone wants to wear midi skirts. Like, no, it is happening in relation to our country taking 20 steps back when it comes to civil liberties and protecting women's bodies. What is a capitalist society going to ensure? They're going to ensure that they exploit our political regression. And that means revamping plastic clothes to include pilgrim fashion and all types of Amish foolishness to have more women buy into these conservative ideologies. And so it really is bigger than just wanting to be modest or not.
I really wanted to talk about the rise in conservatism that we're seeing in this generation, which is really surprising because I wouldn't assume that Generation Z or Gen Z, which I'm a part of, would be going down this trend. This tweet in particular, I feel like is like a perfect example of this because we've all seen the PLT rebrand, how they're going down a very old money, like, I don't know, almost Mormon aesthetic where we're going to see girls wearing suit jackets and pointed heels to the club, which we really don't need, by the way. Fashion and what's currently trending with the whole old money aesthetic is a really interesting indicator of people's political leanings, and clearly we can see that this whole rise of the trad wife life and stay-at-home moms and wearing blazers and trying to go for this old money aesthetic is where we're heading. So fashion and the whole obsession with old money aesthetic and trad wife life and stay-at-home mom is a really important social indicator of where people's political leanings lie and how far to the right that we are starting to swing. We've seen this before many times in history. When the economy is doing badly and people are struggling for basic things like food and having a roof over their head, they tend to lean more towards right-wing and very conservative ideologies. So many famous dictators in the past, such as Hitler, have preached the return of family values and the importance of the nuclear family and of national pride. And this is something that we see being preached over and over again in the US with Trump's administration, with the rise of the ADF in Germany, with the Reform Party in the UK, and so many other extremely right-wing groups across Europe, across the Western world. And again, all the PLT rebrand, the obsession with old money aesthetic, it's all balled up into one, and it kind of makes me scared for where we're heading in the future.
And the last point that I saw a lot of people complaining about was how capitalism is overtaking our society more and more every day, and the illusion of affordable luxury. I have not had the most positive experience whenever I purchase on PrettyLittleThing. From my orders just never showing up, to the tight-fitted dress fitting me like a moo-moo, when I got it in person because I wasn't thicker than a Snicker, to the lack of reviews on their website. Their dresses that used to be marketed as $20 that are now brown and more minimalist or I guess you guys can even say more modest, are now $50. And they're trying to justify these prices by making it look more high-end and luxury, when in all actuality, 9 out of 10 times, this isn't the case. This is a classic example of what is called perceived luxury, which is when brands manipulate their marketing in order to make you feel like you're purchasing something that is worth the pricing of it, even if it's the same cheap material that they've been using all of this time.
The Pretty Little Thing rebrand is pure comedy because they're changing the logo, they're changing the font, they're changing the clothes they're selling, everything but the polyester in the clothing. Like, I went on that website and I scrolled for a solid 5 minutes and everything was still 90% polyester. So you're about to raise the prices for your new little high neck sweaters, ditching the BBL fashion, and you're still gonna give us plastic? Like, that just does not make sense to me. Please, y'all, do not fall for this. Like, be for real. They're charging $80 plus for non-natural fabrics. Please, y'all, save your coins and shop slow and small.
I like some of the pieces. I think some of the pieces are really nice, but I also feel like a lot of the pieces I've already seen. When I saw that skirt 1 month ago, it was £10. Now it's got a new photo and it's £25. What did we do? Who did we offend?
It's just rubbish quality stuff for a more expensive price. So why would you choose Pretty Little Thing, who is known for cheaper, efficient, quick outfits, and now try to make it more premium and luxe? It just doesn't work. Like, Pretty Little Thing was known for next day delivery, going on a night out, wanted something quick, and that's what we want it for. That was its purpose. That is its use. Don't change it.
PLT rebranding as quiet luxury is an insane claim from them. Quiet luxury is the investment in like high quality timeless pieces that are sustainably made and not meant to be consumed in like a fast fashion etiquette. First of all, just using a more muted colour palette does not make your clothes more timeless if they're made from the same quality. Second of all, it's insane to like build a rebrand based off the eradication of like all this stock. Like, where the f is all this stock? Like, is the foundations of this timeless luxury sustainable rebrand resting on all of like the previous clothes that aren't like timeless, aren't minimal? Are they just all in landfill now? Because if that's the foundations of your like sustainable timeless rebrand, what happened to the timelessness of these garments? Because they will still exist somewhere. Also, a brand that really is focused on like sustainability and like timeless capsule wardrobe pieces would not distribute clothes in the masses to the way that I imagine they'll still be doing. I imagine though these clothes will not look as fast fashion, they'll be like sold the same way. They'll still be pushing their influencer discounts, they'll still be pushing massive hauls, they'll still be pushing next day delivery so we can have these like ASAP. I think this is performative.
And it's not just the pricing that's changing. It's also who is changing and who Pretty Little Thing wants to now represent them and their website. So where do we go from here? What is the future of fashion? We've seen this pattern before. Trends come and go. We know that, we've seen it, it's very clear and evident. What was once considered classy is now considered cheap. It's like night and day all the time. Right now, brands are obsessed with the old money aesthetic. But at some point, which I think this point is right now, people are going to get sick and tired of the brown, beige, and bland looks. And from this Pretty Little Thing rebrand, I can see exactly that a lot of people are getting fed up with that. I've even seen some people look at old pictures from like 2012 and 2013. Y'all remember that Tumblr era? They're like, oh my God, the world used to be so bright. And that is so true, because at that time, florals and bright colors and neons were super trendy. And people think of just happier times when the economy was better. Which leads me to believe that Pretty Little Thing's rebranding, whether intentional or unintentional, is a direct response to the economic changes happening right now, particularly in America. The current state of the economy is shifting the way people spend money. So before, when people would just buy a bunch of trendy, cheap clothes that were vibrant and were probably not going to be popular in the next 3 to 5 years, people were okay with buying it because it wasn't super expensive. But now people are trying to be smarter about the coin that they're spending. So they're choosing intentionally or unintentionally to buy clothes that will probably have more longevity, which is why neutral colors are getting more and more popular as a purchase item. If you buy that vibrant, bright yellow shirt, you're most likely going to wear it just once. Versus if you buy that black tank, you will probably wear it again and again because it's more chill and people aren't going to remember you wearing it. With inflation rising, people getting laid off, people struggling to get a job or keep a job, and the constant financial uncertainty uncertainty rising, people are becoming more cautious, buying fewer trendy clothes and looking for more timeless, versatile pieces. And the brands are catching up with this.
We see business casual being the trend of choice when people are broke. At times of economic downturn, blazers in the club is very much what people do because it makes more sense to make the clothes you have to wear stylish so you don't have to keep buying clothes. If business casual is the look, right, then we go buy business casual clothes. We wear those clothes to work, to school, to our internships, whatever. And then we also wear those clothes to the club because we are broke, right? So we got a 2-for-1. We can't keep buying clothes. You can't have your clocked out clothes and then your club clothes and then your work clothes. You can't have all three. You're going to have to make all three one. So on top of it really being a sign of the times, it is a sign of the times.
So it seems their goal is to try and shift away from hyper trendy clothing and instead pushing more investment pieces because they'll last longer due to them being timeless. Hence why we might say it's boring, but those boring clothes you're most likely going to wear 10 years from now. I mean, look at the trendy clothes from 2010. Would you probably touch those clothes again right now? I highly, highly doubt it. So they're being strategic in their business model and business plan, but it is irritating customers at the same time. And lastly, I think a lot of customers, or should I say former customers, are upset about the PrettyLittleThing rebrand because they're tired of everything getting so expensive. I mean, you can't even watch Netflix without them upping their price every single month. Everything has a price tag to it. Everything's trying to be luxury. Everything is just this, and this. It is tiresome. You can't even get a regular apartment without them slapping luxury on it and giving it a luxury price. People are just tired, and I do not blame them. It gets exhausting when you see brands constantly doing this. Like, yeah, go ahead, do a rebranding if that's what's important to you. But why do your customers have to suffer in the process of it? But you guys, that is the end of today's video and the ZARAfication of fashion brands and the deep dissection of the PrettyLittleThing rebrand. What are your thoughts on the PrettyLittleThing rebrand? Are you guys for it? Are you guys against it? Let's get the discussion going on in the comments down below. Also, be sure to check out Raycon and those amazing everyday earbuds. I absolutely love them and I know you guys will too. If you guys like this video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. And thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all in my very next video. Love you guys. Bye. Mwah.
Taking you in this moment. Come get close like you own it. Read your aura, you want more of all this love, you'll be your name. Release all of your burden.